like I said, incredible start to the first session. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our speaker for the next session. Rajpreet is going to continue to be in conversation with our lineup of speakers for today. And let me just bring to you our next speaker. Our next speaker is Dr. Aarti Gupta. She belongs to the promoter family of the Jagran Group, a business house with interests spanning across media and communications, education, real estate, and hosiery exports. Dr. Gupta leads the investment strategy for the family office and is the chief investment officer at DBR Ventures, an angel investing entity that invests in smart and transformative early stage startups. She's an investor in India's first reality startup funding TV show, Horses Stable, named amongst the 22 top women investors in the country by Inc. 42. She looks for companies with innovative and transformative solutions to problems that exist on a larger scale. In addition, she has been serving as the director for AGA Publications, a print media company, for the last 12 years. She is an immediate past chairperson for FICCI Flow Kanpur and is currently serving as the national head for FICCI Flow Startups, an ecosystem for women founders and funders, where she's been instrumental in bringing forward pertinent issues relating to the growth of women entrepreneurs, both at the state and national levels. Dr. Gupta holds a PhD in economics from IIT Kanpur, is a postgraduate diploma in business studies from Harvard University, and a master's degree in economics from Northeastern University. Further, she's on the board of Harvard Alumni for Global Women Empowerment, IIT Kanpur's Social Incubator Invent, and is on the board as the advisor for Women's Entrepreneurial Committee for Merchant Chamber of UP. Without further ado, let me hand this back to Rajpreet, who's going to be interviewing Aarti. Aarti and Rajpreet, the stage is all yours. Over to both of you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Shreya, for that introduction. Thank you so much. So wonderful being here.
Hi, Aarti. Hi, it's a very good morning to you, and it's really an honor to have you with us today. And thank you for kindly agreeing on such a short notice to make it for the event. So thank you.
No, thank you, Rajpreet. The pleasure is all mine, and congratulations to you and the entire team of Say Cheese for launching this wonderful platform of where women can have discourse on on topics which affect them. So congratulations to the team of Say Cheese.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you. So we'll just begin with the topic for today, which is what makes really a woman unstoppable. So Aarti, how would you define an unstoppable woman?
So, and I thought a little bit about this, and if you just go by the definition of the word unstoppable, it would mean, nothing will stop you from creating the life that you want. Nothing will stop you from creating your dream career. But I feel, Rajpreet, we here in India, and in fact, all over the world, there are a large number of women who do not know, or rather think about what they want. Very often it is what the family wants, or what your children want, what your spouse or your parents want. We mold our lives to fulfill others' dreams. In fact, many of you who are listening in, we rarely don't even eat what we want. We usually cook or order meals depending on what others want to eat, or what the family wants to eat. So for me, the very first step to being an unstoppable woman is to be willing to find out what you want. What is my purpose? What are my passions? Very often we get settled into this comfort zone of prioritizing everyone else's needs. So are we willing to be pushed out of that comfort zone, prioritize our dreams, our ambitions? And once we're ready to do that, and we're ready to put in the hard work to fulfill our dreams, I think then the future will belong to us. That's, in my opinion, will and should define an unstoppable woman.
That was beautifully said, Aarti. So it doesn't come very naturally to a lot of women, and including me as well. I know where I was and what I've actually worked on, and now the version that I am right now. And of course, there's still a long way to go, but recognizing your own, being self-aware of what really you want in life, and then pursuing that with all the hard work that you mentioned. So beautifully put, Aarti. So, Aarti, from managing the responsibilities at DBR Ventures to Ficky Flow, from being an angel investor to being on the board of directors, there's so much that you're already doing. So how do you really manage so much and with so much clarity?
Uh, Rajpreet, I think all of us women have multiple things we manage. I have been fortunate to enjoy multiple roles in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. Not just the professional ones you mentioned, but also that of a mother, a wife, a daughter-in-law in a huge family. So in addition to other roles of like professional roles, of managing our family office, being an angel investor, each role obviously presents itself with different challenges where every day I need to kind of adapt and deliver accordingly. And honestly, I would have loved to come here and say that, Rajpreet, everything is very, very perfect. I wake up, I have this, color coded calendar or organizer where everything works prim and proper. I have X hours in my office. I completely disconnect myself, come home and cuddle with my family, and this is my family time. But I hate to break the truth, it's never ever that. In today's day and age, I personally have never been able to disconnect myself completely from one aspect of my life to another. It's very difficult to compartmentalize. The lines are too blurred. I think what at least has worked for me is, if there is chaos, I have learned to thrive in it. I have learned to, I truly enjoy what I'm doing. Each of my roles is something where what I'm truly passionate about, whether it's financial management, whether it's hearing a new startup idea or working towards women's empowerment issues. It's something which I love doing. I don't feel burnt out at the end of the day. And don't get me wrong, I'm totally knackered when I hit the bed. I'm super tired, but I'm excited to wake up the next day, and get back to doing what I love doing. So, what has worked for me is definitely choosing a profession, what I'm passionate about, and doing things which I'm passionate about. Obviously, in addition to this, I think one of the a very important aspect, and as cliche as it is, time management is the essence. Like, you have to prioritize, arrange, design, and adapt, set goals according to what you want to do. You need to do all of that, and it's of essence. In addition to doing this, I think it's very important to perform activities according to your priority. And for that, we need to realize that we have only X number of hours in the day, and we need to learn to say no. So again, doing what you love to do, time management. And finally, I think I've been blessed to have a very, very strong support system. I've got this tribe of people with me, with whose help I've been able to achieve or plan to continue to achieve my dreams or fulfill my dreams, whether it's my spouse, my in-laws, my parents, my daughter's school moms, my friends, the staff at home. I'm so, so grateful for my very, very strong support system.
So Aarti, all the things that you mentioned, are so correct, because when we conducted surveys before starting Say Cheese, some of these are not really, not every lady is really blessed with all of this. And I must say that, incidentally, Say Cheese is actually offering all of this, right from Ikigai, following your passion, to actually finding out what that really is, to actually, time management and prioritization that you spoke of. We have experts who help in that. And then the ultimate vision, it's just so much tying up of creating that support ecosystem. If like there is a lady and she needs 6-7 people in her, as her board of directors or her personal board of directors who can really help her at a given phase in her life. So we try to create that support ecosystem for her. So as you were speaking, I could just relate to, how the journey is that we are trying to.
No, and that's so fantastic, Rajpreet. I would really, really encourage women to take this opportunity and reach out. There is no harm in seeking help or leaning into another woman or a man to say, like, I need this help. I think we very often we want to do everything ourselves. So, we hate to ask people. I think creating the right support system is what will help you truly fulfill your dream. So do ladies out there, just ask, like, for help. It's out there.
Absolutely. And so Aarti, women led startups, we'll just move to that, where, the data shows that, they received 2.3% of the VC funding in 2020, which is even less than what it was in 2019, which is 2.9%. So only about 12% of the decision makers in VC firms are women. So you are an investor at Horses Stable. So what are some of the key aspects that you look at, in really a founder, a woman founder, if I may ask?
Sure. I think you rightly said, like, the funding which women-led founders receive is much lesser. There is a disbalance in women investors as well in the ecosystem. And we are trying to change that through organizations like Wikiflow Startup Cells, where we're kind of promoting more women investors and training them. Some of the key aspects which I look for, honestly, I do not differentiate what I'm looking for in a startup, whether it's a male or a female founded, For me, the parameters are the same, and definitely the usual ones are there. And a lot of you would have already heard this. A good business plan, what is the experience which the team brings in, the market, the requirement for the problem, the requirement for that startup, what is that problem which you're trying to solve, and definitely your ability to execute. So these are the usual ones which you look through in a business plan and when you meet the team. But in addition to this, like I invest in seed and pre-series A stage. And at that point, the startup is very, very new. So what I really, really bet on is the founder and the team, and what I'm really looking for is grit, startups itself is a very, very hard journey. And while I've not been a startup founder myself, I have seen over the course of last few years what a roller coaster ride it's been through for each of my founders, in the companies I've invested into. You're struggling when the company is not growing. You're struggling when the company is growing too much, because hypergrowth is also difficult. It requires an ability to tolerate high pressure. It requires, and if like this tenacity. And if you have grit, and different founders have different reasons for this grit. Like, it could be a personal experience, like, you went through something and that is why you founded this company, or it could be a competitive streak in you or a deep passion towards the cause. But as long as you have this grit, and this is what I really, really look for in a founder, it will help you get over any of the problems which come across in this whole roller coaster journey. Another aspect which I think I look for in a founder is, growth mindset. And I feel a lot of times women founders kind of restrict themselves in this particular aspect. As an investor, we're looking for founders who can think beyond what the data shows. What you and me can see. I want you to show me your dream, like show or show me the bigger picture. And a lot of times women are afraid to have this dream gene in them. They don't like to see that larger picture. And I really feel that the founder with the right growth mindset is the one to truly bet on, with the one who's not afraid to execute and fulfill their ideas to the fullest.
Absolutely, Aarti. And being a founder myself, I could so much, there was a lot of learning and so much that I could relate to, especially, this entire journey, as you mentioned, and so rightly understood that it's not easy. And it is the why, that dream that really keeps you going, because there are so many moments of setback. And it is really the why, at least in my case, that, that just keeps me going. So I think that's really important. And also, when you spoke of, at times, women also believe that we believe more in delivering than committing. But, at the same time, it is important to talk about that dream and talk about that vision. So, so thanks, Aarti, for, really mentioning that and bringing it to the table, and all our listeners on YouTube. So, thanks really for bringing this aspect.
Rajpreet, I would say that, you must talk to yourself about that dream and that why every single day. Like, I think, and I'm telling you by personal experience, I hesitate to say things out loud, say out that big, large dream, but only when you say that to yourself. Imagine if you're not able to say it to yourself, how will you say it out to the world? So if you have that big, grand vision, say it to yourself every single day and it will come true.
Cheers to that. I know even to say it to yourself is so difficult. Yes. So I completely can relate to what you're saying, Aarti. It's not easy. And so, great thoughts. So moving on, so Aarti, some more ingredients, in an unstoppable woman that we would like to hear from you about.
So obviously I touched upon a few things in my, when you asked me this question first. And for me, I think a very, very key ingredient, I would say, is in becoming an unstoppable woman. And that's kind of expanding on what we were just saying in the previous question also, right? Again, do not think linear, think exponential. I feel as humans, we are wired to think linear, right? Local. Our ancestors were confined into the same locality, city or village they grew up in. And today we live in a world which is completely exponential and global. Last couple of years is the living proof of that, right? Something happened in China and the entire world literally in days was locked down. Similarly, in the last year, we've seen in the startup ecosystem, companies go from zero to billions of dollars in valuation in just about 12, 15, 20 months. And that exponential curve is only growing, kind of a thing. So my suggestion or my take on being an unstoppable woman would be to think linear, to not think linear, but think exponential. And to give you a visualization of this, and a lot of you must have heard it, but I'd really like to think about this, If I were to take 30 linear steps, where would you reach? You would just reach about 30 inches away, or like 30 meters away maximum. Imagine if I would ask you to take 30 exponential steps, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 16, 32. Where would you end up? You would end up 1 billion meters away. It's 26 times around the planet. We women, we love a growth path which we can predict. And thus that restricts us and our thinking to being very linear. We like to take steps which we can see, we like to kind of measure the risk and not take those risky moves, So I think it's very, very important, if you want to be unstoppable, that you think exponential, because only when you think exponential will you be able to dream and fulfill that dream.
That was full of inspiration, Aarti. And so, we'll also talk about, I think something which is again very much talked about and a cliche, I may say, but work-life balance. Since you are also managing so much, so do you think that we are just supposed to know it inherently as women how to do it, or what really is done about maintaining this entire balance?
So, Rajveer, I think all women, including our moms and grandmoms and everything, I think we have this natural ability to spin up 50 plates up in the air and know which one is going to fall first and catch it. It's we've learned it. I think it's ingrained in us, this whole multitasking capacity, and that's our biggest advantage, right? Like that's something which we have in our genes, I can say. So having said that, I think there is a lot of societal pressure on women, and to have this perfect work life and perfect home, perfect children, this balanced aura and everything. I think we need to shift that focus, both from our own minds as well as from a societal level, right? I think it's okay to have a little chaos around. It's okay as long as you have a happy work life, a happy home, happy children. I think we should, and this is just coming from a very personal space, very personal experience. I used to put in so much effort into having like the best of homes, the best of food on the table, and I would kill myself because you're working and you're trying to do this and that. But it's okay to have a little chaos. So I think we should stop talking and stressing so much on the balance and let us women find happiness in the chaos. We need to, it's okay. Like, if there are certain days when you need to work on Sundays, and there are certain times when you need to pick up your child's call in between a meeting, and that's completely okay. We should be okay with that, and so should the people around us.
Absolutely, Aarti. So Aarti, today, is the official inaugural day for our mobile app launch. And I know you have an iOS device and have not yet experienced it. And apologies for that. We are just, we'll be launching it in the next 1 week or so. It's already submitted. But yeah, for our Android users, they're already live on the app. And so, anything that you would like to share about networking and how really, the communities can really collaborate through the power of networking? Any thoughts of that as a closing remark, and any thoughts from you?
I mean, I would really like to tell all the women out there that, first of all, like, recognize your own strengths and talents and share your expertise. Networking and reaching out is so paramount for us women, and we kind of put that in the back seat. Like, you usually find men are so good at networking. Like, they will like, and we women are normally so hesitant to go out there and meet new people. So platforms like this is very, very essential for women to come out and network. And when you network, I think it's very important for every woman to get herself a good mentor. And this just does not have to be another woman. It can be a man as well. Like, I personally cannot stress enough on the role of good mentors in your life, someone who can be your sounding board. So reach out to platforms like Say Cheese and see if you can find those good mentors out there. And don't hesitate to just send in a message. I have reached out to so many people and I've said, hey, I have this, I'm stuck here. Can you help me with this? So reach out. The worst that can happen is someone will say, no, I cannot do this. I cannot be your mentor. I cannot help you with this. But that's the worst which can happen, right? But if you get a good mentor, it can truly change your life. Also use platforms like this to keep reinventing and learning. I personally take an educational vacation every year. myself. I go out there and learn something new. And whether it's online or, whether going physically, again, platforms like Say Cheese and other networks help you to kind of reinvent and keep learning. And most importantly, they're very, such platforms are very important to voice what you want to say. A lot of times we women don't have a voice, or we have so many ideas, but we don't know where to put them out. So voice, if you want something, voice it, I think today we have everything which we need to be successful. The cape is already there. It has our names on it. Let's not wait for someone to hand it to us or give us the permission to wear them or to be unstoppable. I think let's ourselves be unstoppable.
Absolutely, Aarti. I think that possibility is out there, and it's for us to really go ahead and come out of our own barriers. And really, the Say Cheese is also here to hear that every voice is heard, every smile matters, and women can come and really network like never before. So, Aarti, I must say that this was a very heart-to-heart conversation. And thanks for sharing your views. I think Shreya is here. Shreya, over to you. If you are, if you could just summarize.
So I think, that was so right. It was such a heart-to-heart. I think there were so many aspects of so many questions that we go on as our journeys carry on that you could relate to. And I love those little snippets. And the whole closure of the conversation was just so perfect, of being unstoppable. So often we forget that it's very lonely, when, especially as an entrepreneur, they say it's lonely at the top. Try being an entrepreneur, then you know what real lonely is. But I think all of those aspects, and what I loved was that little bit about trying to not be the perfect versions of ourselves all the time. Not the perfect meal at the table, not the perfect home, but just enjoy and live in the moment. I think it's so true. And like you said, Rajpreet, all the coming into and coming alive in that conversation. Thank you so much, Aarti and Rajpreet. Thank you for walking us through that beautiful heart-to-heart that you guys had. I think one of the only questions that I probably have for both of you is, it is lonely no matter where you are, right? Especially as a woman, because like Aarti said, you're listening to everybody, you're catering to everybody. But there is very often this thing of letting yourself slip in that mad rush of catering to everybody. So what do you do? What can women do? What are the simple things that you both do, for instance, that, somebody could take away and apply to their own lives? Can you guys hear me?
I lost Shreya for a bit in between. I'm not sure if it's my connection.
I just asked, is it fine now? Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was just asking, what can you do as women who are dealing with some form of loneliness, or, constantly putting others ahead of themselves and not really doing much for themselves? Where can they start? Where is that beginning? What can they do for themselves that will help ease their lives a little bit?
I think, Shreya, one of the first, obviously, there are a lot of women who feel this, and it is a lonely journey, whether at the top or at different aspects in your life. I think one of the first, and I will come back to where I started, right? Like recognizing what you want. I think talking to yourself about what you want, and I saw this so much in my mom and my grandmom. They don't even want to admit or say that this is what I want, because when you, as much as we like to be selfless, like when you put your needs at the back, you at some point you start feeling really unhappy, right? That kind of eats you away. And we don't talk about this enough. Like, normally women who put their needs, their ambitions, their dreams on top are given this whole villain look, like, oh my God, like she's so selfish. Like we need to stop doing that. We need to get out of this guilt that we've put ourselves first, because like they say, like you can only pour out of a cup which is full, right? So you need to fill your own cup. So fill that cup every single day. Talk to yourself about what you want. I do that, and it's a recent practice which I've picked up, and I cannot stress upon what a difference it's made. Like I get up and I talk to myself that this is what I want, because I'm a mother to a 12-year-old, and I've been working throughout, like ever since she was born, and that guilt doesn't go away, right? And talking to myself really, really helps. So, it's okay. Like, so I think pour into your cup is what I would like to say.
Beautiful. On that note, thank you so much, Aarti, for joining us, for starting off the one of many hundreds of conversations that are going to come our way in the course of the next couple of months on Say Cheese. And hope to see you once the iOS app is launched on